30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Friday in Nashville, Tennessee. And part of the reason it's beautiful, it's Friday. Oh, yeah, that is a good thing right now. Big football weekend. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about the Titans. Kelly Holcomb rejoins us on Monday during the 3 o'clock hour. The moment all of you have waited for. Ask the director. Billy, I want questions out of the audience today. So I'm going to hit this hard. How does a person get their questions in?
Yep. If you want to ask George a question, all you got to do is go to the right side of that YouTube channel. On the bottom right, there is a comment section, a chat room, we like to call it. So fire your question in there. I'll see it. And I'll get it over to George. You can also ask him on Twitter and Facebook as well.
This will be exciting.
This will be riveting.
You doing all right?
Oh, yeah. How about you?
I'm good. Let's get to Terry McCormick's daily Titans update. Now that we're into football season, we start every day this way. His daily Titans update is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And as you can see, teamed up with the folks at USA Mortgage, a lot of good things can happen when you dial this number. Area code 615-969-4350. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, joining us for his daily visit. Terry, what is the big news?
We're not getting Terry.
The interim coach for the Titans on Saturday. This is really kind of a historic occasion, if you want to put it that way, because this is the first time that, there have been games where maybe a coach had to miss because of some sort of reason, but Mike Vrabel's basically handing the reins over to Terrell Williams and saying, this is your show, run with it.
Terry, I have fawned all over this move all week long and giving Vrabel huge props. Nationally, is it playing the same way?
It's got a little bit of talk, but not as much as I think it should. I saw it on Pro Football Talk, and I think maybe it was mentioned on ESPN or NFL.com, one of those two places, but certainly has not gotten the play that I thought it would. But I really believe that this is going to be the start of a trend. You're going to see more teams do this sort of thing probably next year in the preseason, and Mike Vrabel is going to get the credit for starting this, as well he should.
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't asked you this much. I think we know the Titans' kicking game is in great shape from a punting standpoint. What about field goal kicking?
Well, that's going to be interesting, George. Vrabel said he hopes to be able to get in a situation where he can put Caleb Shudak and Trey Wolf in game-type situations, not just game-type situations to kick a field goal from 40 yards in the middle of the second quarter, but end-of-game, end-of-half situations where points are at a premium, where, there's 30 seconds left. Can this guy nail a 53-yarder to give you a win? Because as you know, this Titans team has played on the edge offensively for a number of years. For most of the time that they've been here, haven't been a lot of 34-17 games where they've been on the upside of that. There's been a lot more 21-19 games where they've been either on the up or downside of that. And if you can make a kick here and there, then that certainly helps it. My idea for the kicking situation to solve it, George, would be go apologize to Ryan Suckup for what happened to him in 2019. Bring him back here because he can get the job done.
So, Terry, let me ask it a different way. There are probably 10 guys out there who are not on NFL rosters today who have proven to be 80% plus field goal kickers. So why are the Titans taking this chance?
It's a good question. I mean, I guess it's probably for the fact that they want to see if they can develop a young guy like they did once upon a time with Rob Baronis, a guy who held the spot for 6, 7, 8 years, and then go with it that way. It saves money if you can do that. But certainly the bottom line is, can the guy make a clutch field goal? Can the guy win you a game when he needs it? You'll only know that when you get in that type of situation. And after he's missed a kick or two that's in a clutch spot, then it's too late and you're scrambling left to go find somebody who can.
Yeah, and you raise the point. The way this team plays, this piece of strategy makes no sense.
I agree with you, George. I mean, it would be different if you had the Kansas City Chiefs offense and you're out there rolling up 35 points every week. This team doesn't do that. This team wants to run the football, wants to play good defense, wants to pull it out in the fourth quarter. If you're going to pull games out in the fourth quarter, George, got to have guys who can make field goals at the end of games. And this team, you got to have guys who can make long field goals, because that was the problem with Randy Bullock last year. He couldn't make anything outside of about 47 yards, and therefore it kind of put him behind the 8 ball, because they would get to the 35-yard line and end up punting or going for a 4th and 3 instead of being able to tack on 3 points.
And that was at a point where the rest of the league had established, for the most part, 57 yards and in, and the Titans were going the other way with it. Okay, give me one more player that we probably know nothing about that you think we ought to pay attention to tomorrow.
All right. One guy that Shane Bowen, who the defensive coordinator said he wanted to see, is a kid from Ole Miss named Otis Reese. He's an inside linebacker. He's a long shot to make this team. Might be a practice squad candidate, but he's a guy who likes to hit, likes to be aggressive, likes to be physical. Shane Bowen loves that about him. Let's see what he can do in his first real live game situation. See if he can stir some heads, maybe the way that Jack Gibbons did last year.
Terry, excellent stuff. We'll review it all on Monday.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend, George. And by the way, it was good. It was good to hear you back on 104.5 for a little while today. That was kind of nice. That brought back some memories.
Yeah, it sure did. Happy 20th birthday to the station, and thank you. That was nice of you to hear it.
No problem.
Okay, Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And with the help of USA Mortgage, that's exactly what can happen if you make that phone call. 615-969-4350. Billy,
George,
what's going on?
Nothing much. Somebody was listening, huh?
Yeah. It wasn't even a relative.
I thought it was good, too. It definitely brought back some memories for me.
A lot of memories.
Oh, yeah. Hearing Kirby, too. You don't get to hear him too often.
No,
on the radio.
Kirby's my guy.
He's associated with most of those stories anyway, so that was fun to listen to.
He's associated with a lot of them, I'll tell you that.
The lighter story, that'll never get old. But George, 2 NFL preseason games last night.
Yes.
Texans beat the Patriots.
Whatever.
Mac Jones did not play.
Yeah, that hacked me off.
Bailey Zappi started last night. The Seahawks beat the Vikings 24-13. Backup quarterback Drew Lock led the late rally there. And George, he's a guy that, he hasn't really gotten a full opportunity and chance yet. But I mean, when he's had the opportunities, he's taken advantage of them.
Well, in Seattle for now, he's not going to get many. Geno Smith has, sort of resurrected his career. I didn't think Locke was very good in Denver, but I don't know that it's all his fault.
Yeah.
And so, good for him. To be honest, I fell asleep on it. It was 10-10 in the third period. And then at some point I went, hello.
Not the starters anymore.
No, they're
After
not.
about one
Future
series.
bartenders.
Yeah. 6 games tonight. Packers are at the Bengals.
That's the NFL Network game.
Yep, and then there's another NFL Network game late tonight, Broncos and Cardinals as well. So 2 NFL Network games tonight. Giants are at the Lions. And a piece of news I wanted to get out here, George, the Lions announced today that running back Justin Jackson, former Northwestern running back, has retired from the league at age 27. He appeared in 16 games for Detroit last year. This might start becoming a trend. I think it already is, because you also saw Sony Michel retire, I think, a few weeks ago. The Lions overhauled their running back room. They traded DeAndre Swift and signed David Montgomery. They also drafted Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
We might start seeing this a little bit more.
I'll
George.
say this. If you've ever been down on a sideline for an NFL game, it is a legalized train wreck. You wonder why running backs don't have, longer amounts of time that they compete at a high level. Go be on a sideline. If you can ever pull it off, you will not believe the physicality. It's scary.
You can watch it on TV, but it's nothing like being down there on the sideline, just seeing the wear and tear. And I've seen it going to fall camp and being close to that action at Vandy. I mean, it's a whole nother level when you're there.
Billy, there was years ago, I used to do this halftime thing for Comcast, and I would go down on the field with about 8-10 minutes left in the half. And this particular day, they were playing Baltimore, who at the time was coached by, was quarterbacked by Steve McNair, and one of his receivers was former Titan great Derek Mason. Well, Mason was doing a lot of yapping at the Titans bench, most of which was to guys he was friends with, and he's yapping away. And finally, Jeff Fisher turns to him and says, "Shut the hell up and get in your huddle." And everybody started laughing. It was hilarious.
Falcons and Dolphins tonight as well. Steelers and Buccaneers, Commanders and Browns. And, of course, you got the late night game as well, Broncos and Cardinals. So football's here, George, and it's here to stay for a while. Speaking of here to stay for a while, Braves fans are hoping their team is here to stay, but they have been struggling.
They're bored.
Last night, Pirates beat the Braves 7-5. Bryce Elder with the loss. Tonight, they'll start.
Now, hold on. That part's concerning because Bryce Elder, in, let's say, the last 6 starts, nowhere near as good as
shaky
when he was anchoring that thing in April and May.
Mm-hmm.
That is a legit concern.
And he's a guy they can't afford to have struggle.
Yeah.
So tonight, they'll start a 3-game series at Citi Field against the Mets. ESPN on Sunday night.
Yes.
George. So they got the players mic'd up this year. Michael Harris is going to be mic'd up on Sunday night for the Braves. Yeah, I saw that. So
and Monday night, the dreaded Yankees come in. And among the sellout crowd, me.
Along with?
David Cutcliffe.
Coach Cut.
So when they were in town for SEC football media days, David is a huge Braves fan, and we talk about it all the time. And so finally I just said, we need to go to a game. And we picked one out, and our mutual friend, Jeff Francoeur, helped us with ticketing, and here we go.
Attaboy, Frenchie.
And let me just say to the folks in Chattanooga, make it easy on me.
It's never easy. You know that, George.
God, it's an obstacle course getting through there.
Never easy. It's never the 3 hours. It's always closer to 4, that drive. But, of course, the Braves will play in Citi Field this weekend. Last note, the FedEx St. Jude Championship is underway in Memphis at TPC Southwind. Jordan Spieth paced the field with a 7-under 63 yesterday. They had to adjust the tee times because of the weather issues this morning. And I'll see if I can get a live leaderboard throughout today's show. But always liked watching that one down in Memphis.
Yeah, that's been a good tournament for a long time. So all of you know, Titans open the preseason tomorrow in Chicago, noon start time. You can see it either on Channel 2 or on NFL Network. It'll be on both. And after the break, we will go to Chicago. One of the great radio stations in our country is WBBM. I have listened to it for years. It comes in here at night, 780 on the AM dial. Jeff Joniak's their play-by-play announcer, and he is a hoot to listen to. Their staff was nice enough. Rick Gregg, who's going to join us in a minute to help us. Rick has covered the Bears thoroughly during training camp. I wanted to get sort of his perspective on where the 2023 Bears are headed. So stick around. Preseason football is here, and then we'll do tail of the tape around 2:45, which is just one person's opinion of how a, quote, meaningless preseason game will end up. Stay tuned.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. As a lot of you know, our show is now more than a year old, and that's a great testimony to some of the viewership that we have had from you all. So a big thank you right there. If you're new to all of this and you're wondering, how do we see the show? Here's some of the ways. Of course, you can watch it live 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the 3 biggest ways are Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Now, if you're working or can't watch the show live, you know what? All this stuff is archived in podcast form through 2 different ways. Apple, Spotify, that's the way you do it. You can go Apple Podcast or Spotify, and you're probably sitting there saying, George, you don't know what any of these mean. Well, I'm learning. I can at least spit it out now. Hope that you will continue to enjoy our show, because as football season revs up, we've got some great things planned. Thanks for being with us.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. This is not the first time that the Bears and the Titans have had a preseason tilt. Back when I did the games on television, I turned it into a 3-day Ferris Bueller love fest. Will Perdue and I went White Sox on Thursday night, Cubs doubleheader on Friday at Wrigley, where nothing better than that. And then I get to Soldier Field for the game, and I look over at their booth, and I don't remember who the play-by-play guy was, but the 2 color guys are me, whose football career ended in 5th grade, Gray Y, and over on the Bears side, they had Mike Ditka. Ugh.
A little
Can
bit
you
different.
say mismatch? Yeah, I can. Anyway, with that in mind, Rick Gregg was nice enough to email me earlier today when I had reached out to one of the great radio stations in our country, WBBM, out of Chicago, 780 on the AM dial. He covers the Bears, has been there from minute 1 of training camp. Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And anything for the great city of Nashville, especially because my boss, our sports director, Josh Liss, his son is about to start as a pitcher at Belmont. So we're going to have a tie there.
Nice.
Yeah, his son is Hank. And I believe he enrolls in a week or shows up in a week. So
He is playing for a great man in Dave Jarvis.
that's what I've heard. I don't know Coach Jarvis, though.
Speaking of coaches, what is the kind of the Chicago vibe on Eberflus?
The general vibe is we think he's got the program going in the right direction. Him and general manager Ryan Poles, there's belief in them because the fan base was pretty well ready to buy into the rebuild. They are very much behind Justin Fields. And when the GM and the head coach decided to stick with Justin Fields, build around, start with defense, you say that in Chicago, you're going to win a lot of fans. He's got support, at least for now. They had the worst record in the league last year, but really they did not play like they had the worst record in the league, at least attitude wise. They didn't give up. They didn't throw in the towel, and that carried a lot of weight last year.
No, they play hard. There's no question. The games I saw, they play hard. When I looked, it never felt like they had enough skill people around Justin Fields. Has that gotten better? Enough better? Give me some thoughts there.
Skill positions on offense have gotten better. Adding DJ Moore, all we hear about and all we talk about here, it seems like, is the connection between Fields and DJ Moore, his new number one receiver, who they got in trade with from Carolina, for the first round pick of the draft, essentially. And that's not reporters reaching for things. There is real chemistry there. It seems like Moore can catch anything that's near him, and Justin Fields likes to look to him. So, yes, they have DJ Moore now. Chase Claypool, when he is healthy, they brought him in last year in trade for a second-round pick. The jury's still out on whether that was a good trade or not, but when he's been out there in training camp, he's looked good. Darnell Mooney is healthy again, so he has receivers. He has tight end Cole Kmet, and he has at least part of a backfield. Plus, they brought in good rookies on offense, they think, in Roshan Johnson and Tyler Scott, a couple of late round picks who are hoping to, fourth round picks, who are looking to make an impact. And all of them, the rookies at least, have looked like they fit the part in the NFL so far. What they don't have is an offensive line. And what they really don't have is a defensive line yet, but they definitely don't have an offensive line, and they don't have offensive line health, which is a big problem. You've got at left tackle protecting Justin is a guy named Braxton Jones. This is his second year. He was fine last year. I don't know if he's any better than fine, but he's fine. And on the right tackle, you've got Darnell Wright from Tennessee, who was the first round pick, who looks the part, but also is, this is his first taste of the NFL. And there's nobody behind them at the tackle position. Larry Borum, God bless him, isn't the answer for your backup tackle. Up the middle, the problem they have right now is that both Nate Davis, who you guys are familiar with as Titans fans, and Lucas Patrick are not practicing. Patrick is supposed to be the sixth man, but he's not practicing right now. Davis is supposed to be a starter. We haven't seen him in pads. That's my biggest concern, not whether Justin has weapons now, because he does. Who's going to protect him?
Good Lord, this sounds like a carbon copy of the Titans.
Maybe it is. You know your team better than I do, but last year's offensive line, this team can run block, but it's pass blocking that's a real issue. And again, it's injury. It's hard to judge, as you've done this for quite some time. It's hard to judge an offensive line until you see him hit some people, and they don't hit his people as much as they used to for player safety reasons. I'm not here to criticize that, but what I'm saying is we just don't know yet. What I know is that on Thursday, when they were full pads and they were, they do 3-day practices in a row. They have a light day, a medium day, and a heavy day. So this was the harder day. And yesterday, Darnell Wright got beat a lot. And that's not a good sign. He's obviously got the body. The coaching staff say he doesn't make the same mistake twice, but he is making his mistakes and he's learning from them. I guess better to have it happen now than to have it happen in week 1 against the Packers.
Rick, help me with this, because it seems like about the time you want to, make some big pronouncement on Justin Fields, you have to factor all this in. The fact that if he didn't have great wheels, he'd have had about 80 sacks a year ago. So what's the gut feeling up there that if he's given the right stuff, in particular in an offensive line, what does everybody think at this point?
The fans love him. The media likes him a lot. The coaches seem to love him. He's a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with Justin Fields other than the fact that he isn't passing the way people want him to pass. And when you're a quarterback, that's a bit of a problem. He says he wants to be the first 4,000-yard passer the Bears have ever had. That'd be great. I think most people would settle for even 3,000, which would be a step up from last season. What's going to define him is A, if he has the time to throw the ball, but B, if he makes the decisions quickly. He's got the arm, he's got the ability. Is he comfortable now in Luke Getsy's offense to make the decisions quickly? And until we see that, we just don't know. I'd like to think so, but we don't know. And I will say, to your point about the wheels, every time he pulled down and took off, it's so thrilling. And also you're holding your breath. Please don't get hit. Please don't get hit. Please don't get hit, because, bad things can happen there. So he's got to learn to be more comfortable in the pocket and to run the route tree faster in his head and see who's open.
So has he at all complained that, hey, you're not getting me the offensive line help that I need?
Not offensive line. I think that there was a good discussion last year about bringing in more skill position weapons, because last year he did not. You asked about skill position weapons. He did not have that. To the extent that the Bears went to help him, what did they do in the offseason? They got him a number 1 receiver. They got their number 2 receiver, or 3, depending on how you feel about Claypool or Mooney, healthy. They brought in more tight ends, Robert Tonyan from the Packers specifically. Now they have Mercedes Lewis, but he's there to block, I think, more than anything else. They've made a significant investment in Cole Kmet, who is the tight end from Notre Dame. Justin and Kmet had a good run last year near the end of the season. And then they used their first-round pick, the one they got back from Carolina, and then traded down one more spot, not on a defensive pass rusher, even though they need one. They used it on their right tackle of the future. They said, listen, we've put money in here. We've got the guys. Now it's on you. And this is a make or break year for Fields. The worst case, if Fields can't do it, the Bears will also not have a good record, right? And then they'll have both their first-round pick and Carolina's first-round pick to play with next year if they need to go searching for another quarterback. But the hope certainly is that they don't.
Okay, I ought to be asking other important Bears questions, but here's where I really want to go.
All right.
When I got to do a game at Soldier Field, that was sort of a bucket list kind of deal. Soldier Field is an historic old stadium that, at one point seated over 100,000 back when you and I weren't alive. And now the rumblings have been that they're moving up to where Arlington Park, the horse track, was. Is that going to happen? Tell me where all that is.
I don't know if it's going to happen. If you asked me to put my chips somewhere, I would say they're moving to Arlington Park, but I also don't think they're going to move to Arlington. I mean, they're nowhere near breaking ground. So you add 3 years onto the back of it or 2 years for construction. I don't think they're going to be there, even if they signed the lease today. Not signed the lease. They already own the property. Even if they put everything in motion today, I don't think they'd be there for another 6 or 7 years. The new mayor in town, Brandon Johnson, has made overtures about keeping the Bears in town, and Kevin Warren, who is the president of the Bears, has he's no fool. He used to be the chairman of the Big Ten, and he's no fool, and he's perfectly happy to play different suburbs against each other, or cities in the case of Chicago. But the overall likelihood is the Bears own the Arlington Park land. The Bears are demolishing the Arlington Park property, and what they can do around the stadium is more valuable to them than playing at Soldier Field. Unfortunately, for those of us who do love Soldier Field and the historic nature of it and the beautiful backdrop of the city or Lake Michigan, depending on which side of the field you're sitting on.
So is obviously the new configuration, I always say, looks like a spaceship.
It does.
It's really weird compared to what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Is the gripe that, is it luxury suites? Is it land around it that you don't have mixed use? What is the deal?
What is the problem with Soldier Field is the question?
Yeah.
There are several problems with Soldier Field, starting with the fact that the Chicago Park District maintains the field. And by the field, I mean the grass. And it has long been considered the worst field, since Veterans Stadium got its turf removed. It is one of the worst stadium turfs that there is. So that's a problem. The stadium probably is due for another renovation. They didn't do a great job the last time. They're still paying, the city is still paying off the first renovation. And the Bears are saying, but look, we can do more with this. And you have to remember, Soldier Field's not that big. You said it seats 100,000, or it did seat 100,000, and
Back
it did
years ago.
Yeah, but not anymore. In fact, they packed, I don't know how they did it. They packed like 72,000 in for an Ed Sheeran concert a couple of weekends ago. For football capacity, I believe it is still the smallest stadium in the NFL. There was that time when the Chargers were playing in a modified soccer stadium as part of their move to LA. But beyond that, I believe it's the smallest stadium in the NFL. And the Bears look at it and say, we can sell more seats because look at our fan base, and we can do more if we are able to put a sports book on the outside of the facility, put bars and restaurants around, control our own parking. There's a lot of money that they're leaving on the table. Whether any of this gets decided and with the McCaskey still in charge of the team, we don't know. And I don't mean to introduce too much speculation, but you look at Virginia is over 100 years old now, and what happens when, life takes its course, we don't know. So I think they're making this move now to ensure the viability going forward, at least the opportunity going forward.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
Hey, really, first of all, tell Joniak I've never met him, but I'm a fan. He's a hoot to listen to.
He is a lot of fun, and I do have to correct you. Unfortunately, we are no longer the flagship after 20-something years.
You're kidding.
No, unfortunately, we don't have the rights anymore. This is the first year. In fact, I was telling my coworkers, tomorrow will be the first time in almost a quarter century when there's a Bears game day and it's not on our air. So it'll be very different.
Wow.
But Jodiak's still doing the games along with Tom Thayer, the Bear great. And I will tell him hello for you if you'd like. I will see him on, either tomorrow or Monday, certainly. So, and it was great working for him, and he's a good friend. And, his highlights, y'all can find him on YouTube. His highlights are tremendous.
Oh, they are. Listen, thank you for doing this. You were really nice to do this. Now, you'll be thrilled to know that a listener has said, why is this guy doing this from his closet?
I can answer this question.
I want to hear it.
This is a day off because the Bears had a walkthrough today, so I am at home, and I'm doing this into this sports closet, as you can see. We all took our extraordinary measures in the time of COVID and in the pandemic, and for 2 years I worked from this desk. It's my grandmother's desk, and it's in here because closets are great for acoustics, and it's a lot quieter here. I got my kids out in the house, and then I took it all down because, I'm back to work now. But this is still the place I go when I need some quiet. So there you are. You can see my wife's sweater behind me.
Hey, they ask, we answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And next time, if you have me back, I can find another part of the room of the house to show everybody.
It doesn't matter, but we will have you back.
All right,
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Rick Gregg is with WBBM Radio out of Chicago. Was once the flagship of the Chicago Bears for a long, long time. That one surprised me a little bit. As the radio junkie that I am, man, that's been a turn the dial for years and listen to Bears night games on there. So guess what, Billy?
What's that?
What happens after the break?
Little tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape. A useless feature of the show, but nonetheless, hopefully interesting. Stick around. You'll find out who I think's going to win tomorrow at the Spaceship in Chicago.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
We are back here at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. They've got a bunch of tournaments going on this weekend, so a lot of activity. This place will be buzzing today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Speaking of buzzing, a week from today, we begin what we have labeled, because we couldn't come up with a good name, Football Friday. And the first of these will take place just down the road from here, maybe a half mile. James Lawson High School is the old Hillwood, and they open their beautiful, like $200 million facility next week with a home football game. We will do our show from their super duper auditorium. Billy, have you been over there?
I have not yet, but I've seen pictures of it. Looks beautiful. It's going to be a fun trip out there. It's next week.
Hard to believe. Josh Houston and Associates sponsors this. The Metro Nashville Police Department sponsors this. Southern Trophy House is involved. There will be one more. Billy's going to have to fit in a new logo by early next week, and it's possible there may be one other one before it's all over. So looking forward to that. Here's what I ask you, okay? Next week, the 2 to 3 o'clock hour will be high school football exclusively. Then we will go back to our normal programming already in progress. We'll get into all the college stuff and all the things we do on a Friday, but the 2 to 3 o'clock hour will be in front of a live studio audience at James Lawson High School, formerly Hillwood. So there
it is. How about that?
Yeah. Are you ready for Tale of the Tape?
I sure am.
Tale of the Tape, for the most part, is useless. It does waste some time. But, Billy, it's up to you and me to talk about it. Are you aware that the first check mark means the game's in Chicago?
Yes, I am.
Noon kickoff, either Channel 2 locally or NFL Network. I give the running game to the Titans. Why? Because they're going to run.
That's pretty much what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Although it'll be interesting to see how much Derrick Henry plays.
Oh, I would think.
If at all.
I would think you do not see him.
Don't see him.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know.
Would you play him?
I mean, I wouldn't play him, but.
What's he got to prove?
Nothing.
And I don't think you'll see Ryan Tannehill either.
So will Levis get the start or Willis?
I'm guessing it's Malik Willis, and my guess is they both play a half.
Yeah.
Just split the thing down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I give the Bears the passing game. For what reason, I really don't know. Neither of these teams is going to remind you of the Chiefs. The only reason the Titans are not the worst receiving core in the league is the signing of DeAndre Hopkins. The Bears, on paper, they've improved it. Billy, to me, it's Chase Claypool, who's got to have a breakout.
Yeah.
Think about when he first went to the Steelers, nobody could stop him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like the Bears are similar to the Titans. That's another place where receivers go to die. I mean, you saw Kevin White there. I think he was a early first-round pick. Had a great college career, but got to Chicago and just couldn't stay healthy. So they've had some issues with receivers. I think they've got a good tight end. They've got some weapons around Fields. It's just, I think Claypool's the guy they need to step up, and then maybe that'll open up the rest of the offense for them.
The problem is they play too much like the Titans. And this is not meant as a compliment. It's 10 yards at a time.
Yeah.
And in this league now, the way it started to play out in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, it has become much more of a chunks down the field kind of game. And neither the Titans nor the Bears do it very well. The Titans did it considerably better for one reason, A.J. Brown. Then they stupidly got rid of him, and now you see where they are. Can Hopkins be that difference? We hope so. We don't know.
I'll be interested to see what Levis looks like through the air. I mean, I think we know what we're going to get from Willis unless he's really improved. But I think through the air, we're going to get to see a lot of Will Levis tomorrow. And we got a comment here on Twitter from TN Golfer. This preseason game is super exciting. You get to see Levis and Willis. Very exciting. So,
well,
but the thing is, George, we've heard
if it gets bad, you can watch game one of the Braves and the Mets.
And then it might get worse the way the Braves are playing. But Willis, we've heard some good things on Willis. So he's another guy I think we'll be watching.
Here's another one that I've heard. And think about it, a year ago, before he got hurt, Kyle Phillips, the young guy from UCLA, was starting to make some waves. And then he got hurt, and obviously we didn't see him. But he's one to watch tomorrow.
He's a talent.
I hear he's had a good training camp.
Yeah. So, I mean, can they get him vertical? Maybe not, but side to side in those boundaries on the end arounds, I think he's a weapon there.
Defensively, I go Titans. I think at least early, until injuries cause any problems, this ought to be the strength of this team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're getting healthy. They've got Arden Key coming in there off the edge. Jeff Simmons is back. Kevin Byard is back with a little bit less money, but I mean, he's still going to be Kevin Byard. Christian Fulton. I mean, George, if they can stay healthy, this is going to be one of the better defenses in the league again. And they'll show why they won the division a couple of years ago. It was because of the defense. And this team is built around the defense and the running game. And George, again, they got to stay healthy though. They could not stay healthy last year.
So I put the kicking game as dead even. Why? I have no idea. The truth of it is we don't know much.
Yeah.
I would assume the Titans have the edge at punter. That became a real weapon for them a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That young guy is a baller when it comes to punting.
A leg.
Holy cow. Field goal kicking, I'll admit I don't get it. I don't understand why, for a team where it is that important, the way they play, that you make most of them. There are too many good kickers in this league to rely on what I think they're relying on.
You talked about it with Terry. That's exactly what you said. With the Titans and their style, they have a lot of games where they need a kick to win it. I mean, we saw it last year. I think the first game we went there together, and I mean, they lost. They couldn't hit a field goal. And there were a few others like that last year. So I don't think Titans fans want to see games won and lost by field goal kicking again, but they might have to. So Caleb Shudak and I think Wolf, I forget his first name, but he's a young guy that didn't even play football last year that they brought in. So I don't know, George. That the kicking game feels like it's been a question the past few years, and that I don't think this organization can afford a poor kicking game.
It feels like waiver wire at the end of preseason is what it feels like,
Mm-hmm.
but no way to know. So let's go to the intangibles, because I think that's the most interesting thing about this game tomorrow. Terrell Williams gets this opportunity where Vrabel looks like a genius for having thought of this. Here's something nobody's talked about. My hope is that there's nothing that Williams does that ends up botching it, where other teams say, we're not going there.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to have a good game, because the future of this particular promotion may well rest on how good he does tomorrow. Hadn't been much said about that, but think about it, Billy. It's true.
Yeah, and I haven't thought about that. We talked about all the positives of how awesome and smart of a move this was for Vrabel, but I mean, Terrell Williams, he's still got to go out there and coach. And I mean, I think he's been acting as the head coach this week as well, at least later in this week. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a good and a bad. Yeah, it's a great opportunity, but I mean, if they don't perform well, I don't think that's a very good thing at all.
Now, on the Bears front, as we talked about with Gregg, Justin Fields is where all the hope of their franchise is. Justin Fields started out at the University of Georgia, transferred, went to Ohio State. There was a lot of Justin Fields talk until you got to C.J. Stroud, and then you don't hear as much about him, although you do in Chicago. I don't think they have given him enough to really make a concrete evaluation of what level he is. When he takes off, man, he is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But as Gregg said it, when he takes off and he's exciting, you hold your breath, because they have got to keep that kid upright.
He's one of those quarterbacks where, yes, he loves to run and he's a great runner, but with the volume that he's running, it gets dangerous. And I mean, you've seen him take some big hits. He's gotten up for most of them. But at the end of the day, George, you've got to have a quarterback that can consistently make the throws that you've got to make to win games in this league. I just don't know. I haven't seen that from him. I mean, yes, his weapons haven't been all quite there, healthy. I don't think he's had enough weapons. But, I mean, I also haven't seen enough from him through the air for me to really say he's their franchise guy. I think this is a big year for him. And fans like him. Media likes him. He's a great guy. He's a good player. But I don't know, George. This is a big year for him to see what he can do through the air.
Honestly, what it feels like is he's dealing with a lot of the same issues Ryan Tannehill is.
Yeah.
Not good enough in the offensive line. That seems like a big problem that they needed to address and completely fix by now, and they haven't been able to. And some of that is, some of it is front office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pretend to know. I'm not around the Bears every day. In fact, I'm never around them. So let's go to the final score, which is also meaningless.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Nice color code there.
You like it?
So here's one thing I learned when I did preseason games on Channel 2. Teams could care less about this stuff. And, we try to get excited about it. And the fact of the matter is, very seldom is there much emphasis put on winning. And in fact, you will see coaches make calls late in games to avoid it going to overtime. That's how little they care.
Yeah.
You think about all the 2-point conversions you've seen with weird scores, it's because coaches don't want to go to overtime.
And we got a comment in here from Jeff Neal.
Well, hold on to it.
Okay.
Hold on to it. We'll bring it up at the appropriate time, Billy.
All right.
How about that? So how does a person get in to Ask the Director?
If they don't already know, I've said it 1,000 times this week. There's a YouTube comment section, chat room on the right side. Just type in your question there. There's a search bar at the bottom right. Jeff Neal just did it. We had one from Justin Spurlock earlier. John Blackwell chimed in on YouTube. So we want to hear from you. So chime in, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching. TN Golfer chiming in on Twitter. The Titans are a lock on the money line. Their quarterbacks are going to be very hungry.
Where did you get that?
Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Stay tuned. After the break, stat of the day, and then the dreaded Ask the Director. Yep. It's Friday.
Can't wait.
We want to take you out on a good, positive note. Jump in with Ask the Director questions. We're back to Fordyce Center right after this. Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700, send us a message at celestemiddleton.com, or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code 931-492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards in all sports. And then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general. Baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised. And, of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Getting close to the top of the hour here on a Football Friday. We're getting closer and closer to loaded weekends of football. Little teaser this weekend with some preseason games tonight and tomorrow as well, especially with the Titans and the Bears. But first, it's time for Stat of the Day before we get to Ask the Director, presented by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. You can see their logo right up there on the screen. You can find them at 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call at 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Butch has cooked up for today. We are 15 days away from college football. What school has the most college football Hall of Famers?
Ooh, has the most college football Hall of Famers. So it'd be easy to think that Alabama's in there. We'll give you a list of Alabama, USC, Notre Dame, Oklahoma,
Broadcast excellence.
I don't know what that meant there. I think it's one of those 4.
Which teams did you name again?
Alabama, Southern Cal, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. Let me give you some that it is not. You ready?
Oh, this will be fun.
It is not UL Monroe. It is not North Texas. It is not Texas State, which I once thought was a prison.
Ricky chimes in and says Florida State.
No, Florida State, too late into the game. There really was no football power at Florida State until Bobby Bowden got there. It's one of those 4.
Okay. Ricky also says Michigan. It's neither.
You know what? He might be right. Ohio State. I got to put Michigan, Ohio State. It's one of those 6.
Okay. Do you have a final answer?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So one of those 6.
It's one of those 6. We've narrowed it down.
One of those is correct. It is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, that a baby. Oh, that's right.
Go Irish.
That gets you all fired up, doesn't it?
Those gold helmets, man.
Mm-hmm.
Almost
you ever been
here.
to a game there?
Never.
Never?
Nope.
I have done 2 games there.
Well, how about that?
I did a football game that ended up 41-0.
Was Vanderbilt involved?
Yes, they were. And I did a basketball game, an NCAA regional game there. Two actually. Memphis State, Baylor, Memphis State, Purdue.
What's that? Is that Purcell Pavilion? Is that what they call it?
Oh, back then it was the Athletic and Convocation Center. And it is an absolute carbon copy to Murphy Center in Murfreesboro. It looked like they've been built by the same people. Now, Notre Dame's redone the place since I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's a bucket list. There's no doubt about it. They've They've now increased the football capacity to about 80,000. So,
and they've done a lot of renovations. They've got classrooms right outside the stadium now too, that student athletes, I mean, they can go to practice. If they got practice in the stadium, they can go to class as well right after. It's right there. So they've done a lot to Notre Dame Stadium. We got a lot of big games this year there. All right, George, you ready?
Hadn't helped their football program.
Oh, we'll settle down there.
Yeah.
Let's relax.
When was the last time y'all won anything?
Well, Notre Dame's not in a conference, so it's kind of hard for them to win.
Oh, and whose choice is that?
It's Notre Dame's.
Oh.
Notre Dame's.
So, I mean, back until 1989, they had no problem winning in spite of a conference.
Well, times have changed, George.
Oh, well, maybe they should change.
You really
enjoy
you don't like
this.
them. You don't like them not being in a conference, do you?
Oh, I think they think they're
hoity-toity.
Their stuff doesn't smell.
All right. Well, this segment
Ask
stuff
the
doesn't
director.
Smell. We've got a couple of questions here to get to.
Okay.
Yep. Starting with
I hope we have more than a couple.
Oh, we've got more than just a couple.
Okay.
But we'll start.
Don't we get Jeff's first?
Yeah, we've actually got a couple from Jeff.
Okay.
And he's not happy about the preseason.
That's okay.
game.
Let's get this out here.
He said tomorrow's game at Soldier Field is an NCG. Nobody cares game. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The first person that can tell me the Titans preseason record last season gets nada.
Okay, so here's what's pitiful. Okay, because he's right. I had a hell of a time. I tried to Google up their preseason of a year ago. I know they went to Baltimore and got beat. That was the first one. I know they played Tampa here in the second one.
That's the thing. You never know if they won or lost, though.
But I can't remember who the third opponent was, and it was here.
Wasn't the Patriots, was it?
I don't think so.
Maybe that was 2 years ago.
Don't think so. So the thing is, preseason, if you're bored enough to watch, this is all about individuals. Who makes a leap to get on a roster? For instance, my buddy Billy Volek came in as an undrafted free agent when Jeff Fisher was here.
Made a big leap.
And Billy just kept making plays, and they had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
They had no intention of a Billy Volek being on that roster. They probably didn't even know who he was. But you know what? He made their roster.
This is life or death for the young guys.
Sure it is.
I mean, this is their tryout.
It's either that or be a bartender.
Yeah, but it's also time for, the older guys to get some rest and just, as Kelly would say, sit out of training camp.
Now, let me also say this on Jeff. If we said nothing about this game, Jeff might send something in saying, how come you're not bringing up the Titans?
Probably goes both ways. He's got another one here.
Okay, what's he got?
Going to baseball. How does the Pokester feel about the Milwaukee Brewers' possible relocation to Charlotte or Nashville? Well, I don't know if we know what the Pokester feels about it.
Well, first of all, I've never heard it.
You haven't heard of the Brewers potentially moving?
No. Have you?
I really haven't either. I don't know where this is coming from for Jeff.
So, at the time, I don't know what they call it now. It was Miller Park. It's a beautiful park, and it's what they need up there. The weather up there is, it's probably not the best. You get to mid-June, it's still cold.
Mm-hmm.
That park works beautifully. And by the way, there's a casino next door. And if you're wondering what it is, it's Potawatomi. Spell that one.
You would know.
Potawatomi. I've been there. Thank you.
Back to the...
And I did not run into Phil Mickelson.
That's a shocker, actually.
Yeah.
Ricky comes back in with the Titans. He says this is the most anticipated Titans preseason game in 20 years. Will Levis and Malik Willis. Jeff is probably watching the Alabama-Tennessee rerun. Oh, man.
Okay, so that is one little battle here that is worth some interest. The Titans put it out there very early in 2023 that Malik Willis had improved significantly. And I asked the question at the time, how do they know? They haven't had any practice sessions when they kind of started putting that out there. Well, at the time, there was no way they could know that they were getting Will Levis. So are they as interested in his improvement today as they were then? Probably not. To me and Terry, are the Titans going to keep 3 quarterbacks? And the answer may well be yes, because of the worry that that if they do put him on waivers, somebody's going to pick him up because he's got athletic ability.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Now, was he well coached a year ago?
No.
I doubt it.
Heck no.
Because what I saw in that game against Houston the day before Christmas, nothing.
No, it was just sort of a big nothing burger.
Yeah.
But, George, back to the Brewers with Jeff's question about them.
Okay.
Our boy Ty, great live tweeter, has done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Researcher.
Evansville, Indiana. Hello.
Chiming in. He sent me some information on this, and then he sent me this article. The question asks, will Milwaukee Brewers look to relocate if the state stadium financing package fails? And there's some good information. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers proposed using $290 million of the 2023 budget to repair American Family Field, where the Brewers have played their home games since 2001. 7 months later, no deal for taxpayers to pay for improvements at the field has been agreed upon. The failure could lead to the Brewers consider relocating to Charlotte or Nashville. So there is some truth to that.
Well, no, there's some truth that somebody wrote it.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's written by Molly Beck from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm not disputing at all.
But yes, nothing.
Her information.
Nothing official.
What's a little surprising, having been, like I said, it was Miller Park. What do they call it now?
American Family Field.
Okay, it's always good to have the family involved.
Always.
I guess I'm asking myself, what is it that needs improving?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Not really sure. I mean, it looks like a nice park still, but maybe they want something done to it. We'll see. Jeff also chimes back in. Don't do NFL preseason preview. I don't believe that, Jeff.
I love it. This is great stuff today.
I don't believe that.
Let's face it. We have already taken Ask the Director
to a whole new
level
that we've never seen before.
No, we really haven't. This is good.
Okay, we've got a good one from John Wesley here.
What does old John have
YouTube,
to say?
Talking about Tennessee. Can Tennessee's defense take the next step? If they want to take the step from fun team because their offense to an elite program, that side of the ball will need to improve. He's 100% right.
Yeah, but couldn't you say that about a lot of teams these days?
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, whatever you think about Alabama, over the years, you've said elite defense. Well, they gave up 52 in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up whatever it was, 32 in Baton Rouge, gave up a lot of points. I guess my point to it is, what is elite defense anymore? Because the old days of being able to hold people to, 14 or under, those days are gone.
Yeah.
The old 14 may well now be 30.
It's a
offenses are so far, Billy, ahead of defenses. That delicate balance of, football ecosystem, offenses shredded it.
Yeah. I mean, games are won and lost on the boundary now, on the edges, George. They're not won and lost in the trenches anymore.
So let's take his question a little farther, because I think we all believe that to get them to the word elite, yeah, their defense has got to be better, but it's one of two other things. Either Milton is as good as he was against Clemson, which could happen, but then again, might not, or young Nico comes in and looks like, the guy doing the Heisman pose.
The second coming of Peyton Manning.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of it's relative. I mean,
I don't think they need to take, he says next step. Well, what is that next step? I mean, they're not going to they're not going to be a Georgia type defense. I don't think anybody is.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Next step a year ago was to not get blitzkrieg by South Carolina.
Yep.
Because everybody's feeling about that season changed because they got trashed in Columbia.
Yeah. I don't know that the defense as a whole is the next step Tennessee has to take. I just think maturing and, another year under Heupel, this could be the year. It could be next year. That's the year. I think their defense, I think they can win. I think they can make the playoff with the type of defense they played last year. It wasn't awful defense. I thought the D-line got some pressure at times, and they will this year. That's going to be a good front seven for Tennessee this year, I think.
If we were to have a 12-team playoff this year, I think the odds would be better than 50-50.
Yes.
That Tennessee, at least in the preseason, would be penciled into that 12.
Yes.
Now, their schedule has this big bullet, this target. And I think it's November 18th. Second to last game of the regular season. Georgia at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
To me, their goal has to be to win enough games to make that one of the 4 or 5 games of the year in college football.
Yeah. And I would assume that'll be the CBS game.
It's not going to be Mizzlou.
No, certainly not. All right. We got another MLB question as Ricky chimes in.
Okay.
Who does George think are the underdog teams that go far in the MLB? One from the National League and one from the American League. Ask the director. It's a good question.
Philly scares me.
They're creeping up.
And I can't figure them out. But I know this. If you put all their parts together, man, their everyday lineup is you-know-what to pitch against.
Yeah.
And yet they have not really put it together. I watched him last night. Aaron Nola ought to be a Cy Young Award candidate, and he has not taken that leap. Lorenzen kind of comes out of nowhere with this no-hitter a couple of nights ago. Philly is the one, and maybe part of it for me is they trashed the Braves in the playoffs. By game 4, the Braves were, we don't want any more.
Mm-hmm.
They were out for the count. Philly is capable of really good things. American League, let's go back to that question for a minute. So one in the American League, I'll give you a real long shot. If Seattle were to make the playoffs, Seattle's a team worth watching. Got really good pitching. Luis Castillo, who they got from Cincinnati. They've got some very good young pitchers. A little bit like Philly. There's certain nights I see Seattle where they are really good. And then there's certain times where you're like, what's the missing piece here?
Yeah.
But the deal is, Billy, in these best 3 out of 5, it's little more than this. Watch this. You ready?
Ready.
It's a flip of a coin.
Yeah, it really is.
And think about when the Braves won it all 2 years ago. If we're honest, when the playoffs started that year, you would not have had Atlanta in the top 5 of playoff teams.
No.
And they won it all. And what happened? They really got hot. Tyler Matzik.
Woo.
Remember how good he was?
He was lights out.
He was never that way in the regular season.
It's about getting hot at the right time.
It really is.
It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. You got to get to the playoffs, of course. But, with the Mariners, they're 1.5 games back of the wild card right now. They're right there behind Toronto, Houston, and Tampa. So
okay, hold on a second. Go American League today. Who are the top 3 wild card?
Tampa, Houston, and Toronto.
And the fact that Houston has slipped to the middle of the wild card, that's a story right there. Now go National League.
Philadelphia.
Because it's really bunched.
Philadelphia.
In the one hole wild card wise.
Yep.
Okay.
San Francisco, number 2. And then here are the teams kind of hanging around. Miami, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Arizona. all right in there. Arizona's 2.5 back, and Chicago and Cincy are both right there, a half game back.
What's the central standings right now? Because it's Milwaukee, the Cubs, and the Reds all bunched.
Yep.
Really close. What's the
Milwaukee is at the top right now, and Chicago and Cincinnati are tied for second.
How far back?
2.5.
Man, great race.
In the NL East, the Phillies are 9.5 back of the Braves. But with the wild card, with the Phils, they've got that top spot. So they're sitting pretty right now.
Yeah.
But this is when it gets fun for baseball. I mean, it gets chippy, competitive. Pitching is where it's won and lost, and Philadelphia's got it, George. They've got some arms that they can go to.
They have the possibility. Aaron Nola is the guy that needs to step up.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a no-hitter like type performance from Lorenzen again, I don't think he has to throw another one. But I mean, if he gets close, he's a guy that could be an X factor for them.
And 2-3 years ago, you could have had him for a bag of bones.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's it for the fan questions. Yep, I'm sure we might get a couple more coming in.
You
here.
Don't have any.
Well, I could think of one.
Well, if you've got one, I mean, your job was to.
Well, we got so many questions from fans.
Really? So you're just saving them.
But yeah, I mean, if I had to, I would probably ask you about Will Levis. I know we've talked a lot about the Titans, and I don't know that we've kind of slowed down on the Levis talk. I mean, I'm not asking you for training camp insights here, but what can we expect from him this season? Or does he? I mean, number one, do you think he plays this season?
I mean, I think it's possible because first of all, when you get to the regular season, you're one play away. Now that's a tired cliche, except for one thing. It's true.
Yeah.
So you're one play away. Secondly, tell me how this team is doing at midseason. Are they in such contention that you continue to play Tannehill? Is Tannehill so good that you can't do this? Is Tannehill so good that you have to think about bringing him back a year from now? Or is it absolutely the opposite? Tannehill, And so you say, we want to learn about Levis. Is Tannehill such and the team that you say, what the hell? We got nothing to lose. I mean, those are the kind of questions that you have to answer about them to answer what it is you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, with Levis, George, you just don't know. I mean, if Tannehill stays healthy, which is very unlikely, he couldn't play, right? But I mean, Tannehill, that's the question here. Does Tannehill stay healthy?
Well, first of all, in pro markets, you get a lot of negativity. I thought the fan base here would be unanimous in their applause of DeAndre Hopkins. It was amazing to me how many people, when that signing was made, gave it it's Julio Jr.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair to Hopkins. And when Levis got drafted, listen, it's not like I know every last thing about what he did at Kentucky, but friends of mine who I think know say that the turf toe thing that he battled last year was really significant. And that, coupled with an offensive line that wasn't very good, made it very hard for him to be as good as he was in his junior year. I've got confidence. I'm saying, at some point, throw him out there.
Yeah.
If there is a reason, if there's a good excuse late in the regular season, play him.
Why not?
Who knows what we see in preseason? We may see, he's not quite ready. Well, he wouldn't be the first rookie you could say that about. On the other hand, he may show you an arm that you're like, whoa, because he's got an arm.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that part.
And I loved what Mark Stoops said. He sounded really confident when we had him on. And of course he's going to say that. But there's something about the way he said it and how confident he was in Will Levis being the Titans franchise quarterback I liked what he said about him. And I think Titans fans should be excited. I'm not saying Levis is going to light the world on fire this year, but I'm starting to change my opinion a little bit, just starting to do a little bit of rethinking because of what happened last year at Kentucky. I mean, that offensive line was derailed by injuries. He was banged up. He had some young receivers that, were trying to regain their confidence. So I don't know. I'm starting to change my tune on Levis a little bit.
Here's the other thing. If people are honest, a lot of the negativity that draft pick got was based on two words, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
If Hendon Hooker had not been available, there'd probably be a lot more excitement about Will Levis. And look, there's no way to know who long-term is going to be better. Tennessee fans will say, well, there's no question it's Hendon Hooker. Kentucky fans will say, there's no question it'll be Will Levis. The truth is, we don't know.
Yeah.
But if Hendon Hooker had not been available, the public perception of picking Will Levis would have been a lot better than it turned out.
We'll see. It's going to be fun to see Levis and Willis battle. I mean, we've heard good things about both. We've heard good things about Willis, which I think is interesting. So that's what I got, George.
Okay. We'll go to the break, and then when we come back, we'll get you to Plaster's bets of the day. Not uno, not dos. I feel like LeBron James. Not trace, but quattro. We got 4. These guys have been dogging me. I've had a great record. I get no respect. So, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to give you 4 this weekend. We'll find out what those are when we come back. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between. Discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700, send us a message at celestemiddleton.com, or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Final segment on a Friday. It's time for Plaster's Bets of the Weekend. Big weekend coming up in preseason. It's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. First, George, let's take a look at what transpired last night.
Ugh.
The Patriots lost.
Gerber's baby food offense. Good Lord. You
What
talk
in the
about
world
showing
were we
nothing.
watching?
Oh, my God. I mean, offensively from
I thought they fired Matt Patricia.
from late in the first quarter to about midway through the fourth quarter until the kid Cunningham came in from Louisville. It was a big old
Snooze fest.
snooze fest. It was bad.
13-6, sitting pretty though right now still.
4 big ones.
4 big ones could have an impact on that record.
Could. So are we going in order?
We're going in order.
Let's go in order. Yes. NFL Network tonight at 9 o'clock. All of you will want to watch. Arizona, Denver. Why is Arizona a 5.5-point dog at home? Could be because they're playing me at quarterback. I don't know. That seems like a tad bit much. Here's the other thing I don't know. Is Denver playing Russell Wilson tonight? Because in this new system, as bad as... Are we keeping you awake? What was that? I mean, I'm going through some riveting commentary, and you're like... was that really... That was not very professional.
Just a little tired.
Are you that bored?
No.
Anyway, I'll be interested to see what they do with Russell Wilson if he plays tonight, because Sean Payton's bringing in some new stuff. And as the national guys have said, if you take away the good things that Russell Wilson did for years, I don't know what it is you're getting. I'm taking Arizona.
All right, next one.
Yes, this is our baseball bet for the weekend. Orioles are on the road getting odds. Plus 135. Baltimore right now shouldn't be an underdog to anybody. They have been red hot.
They're rolling.
Oh, I mean, you think about how big a lead Tampa had at the end of April. Nobody would have given you a nickel that anybody could catch them.
Not anymore.
This just in, the Orioles not only caught them, they have gone. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome. Good sound effect.
All right, here we go.
Yes. Why are we doing that? A couple of reasons. It's good for business.
Yep.
Take the Titans. That's good.
Tighten up.
I don't think Chicago scores enough to make that, to cover. Simply put.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
All right.
Yeah.
Titans plus 3.5.
And then last and maybe least,
the Birds.
Tomorrow night. This is one of 8 games that NFL Network will show you this weekend live. So if you're bored out of your mind and you have nothing going on in your life, watch them all. Why is Philly a 4.5-point dog at Baltimore?
Who sets these preseason lines?
I don't know. I mean,
there's like no rhyme or reason to them.
Here is what they're worth, Billy. You ready?
Nothing.
Not much.
But we're betting on them.
Well, I mean, it's a slow time right now. Okay. But next week, that's a different story. Next Friday, our show will originate in front of a live studio audience at James Lawson High School. We're very excited about this. The 2 to 3 p.m. hour will be high school football exclusively. And we'll get info from all over the high school world, not just the James Lawson game, but they're the school that was Hillwood. And so they're opening a beautiful new $200 million facility with a state-of-the-art auditorium that we will broadcast out of. There will be students in there watching. God only knows what they'll think, but we're going to have fun with them. And I hope that a lot of you will tune in next Friday for that. Thanks to the folks involved with, go back to it, Josh Houston and Associates, Metro Nashville Police Department, Southern Trophy House, and at least one more that we're about to add, and maybe 2. All of you have a great weekend. Make it a safe one. We will see you back on Monday. Watson Brown will be with us. Watson's Titans analysis. Get ready.
I'm ready.
I'm sure you are. Wake up.